Hello, little Scarlett. I am here to read you another book because you're probably getting bored with the fish. Alright, today's book is Koala Lou because you're with your Grandma Lou over in Australia. Alright, let's start. There once was a baby koala, so soft and round that all who saw her loved her. Her name was Koala Lou. The emu loved her. Look, crazy looking emu. The platypus loved her. Platypus? And even tough little koala claws next door loved her. Look at tough koala claws. But it was her mother who loved her most of all. 100 times a day she would laugh and shake her head and say, "Koala Lou, I do love you." Look at them, Koala Lou and her mum. Bet your mum shakes her head 100 times a day and says, "Oh my goodness, your bum stinks." Whenever she stretched in the early morning sun, or climbed a gum tree, or bravely went down the track all by herself, her mother would smile and say, "Koala Lou, I do love you." The years passed and other koalas were born, brothers and sisters for Koala Lou. Soon her mother was so busy she didn't have time to tell Koala Lou that she loved her, although, of course, she did. Look at all the koalas. Did you see any koalas while you're over there? Or just kangaroos out in the yard? Every night, as she curled up under the stars, Koala Lou thought about the times when her mothers had looked at her and said, "Koala Lou, I do love you," and she longed for her to say it again. One night, Koala Lou had a splendid idea. Preparations had begun for the Bush Olympics. She would enter the Olympics. She would compete in a gum tree climbing event, and she would win. And her mother would fling her arms around her neck and say, once again, "Koala Lou, I do love you." Look, it's a big gecko. And an owl. Koala Lou began her training right away. She jogged and puffed and lifted weights and panted. Sounds like Dad at gym in the mornings. She hung from a branch with one claw at a time till she ached. She did push-ups till her stomach hurt. And last of all, she climbed the tallest tree that she could find, over and over again. Look, that's like Dad doing his weights. Sometimes her mother would watch her and ask, "How are you going, Blossom?" "Fine, just fine," said Koala Lou. At last, the day of the Bush Olympics had arrived. There were ribbons and everyone was dressed up. Koala Claus had also entered the gum tree climbing, and everyone knew how fast she was. But Koala Lou wasn't scared. She saw her mother in the crowd and imagined her saying again, "Koala Lou, I do love you." Her heart filled with hope. See, there's her mum in the crowd. It was Koala Claus who went first. Her climb was a record-breaking 22 metres in 70 seconds flat. The spectators whistled and cheered and wildly waved their holiday hats. Look at all the hats, they're cheering everywhere. Look at Koala Claus. "Can I do better than that?" thought Koala Lou. "I must." As she stepped forward towards the tree, a hush fell over the crowd. "On your mark," said the kookaburra. See? "Get set, go!" Koala Lou leapt on the tree. Up and up and up she climbed. Higher and higher and higher. Faster and faster and faster until there she was, right at the very top. The spectators roared and clapped and stamped their feet. But she wasn't fast enough. In spite of all of her training and hoping, it was Koala Claus who won the gum tree climbing. Koala Lou came second. Koala Lou went off and hid. She heard the shouts of the Bush Olympics and cried her little heart out. Look at poor Koala Lou. When the first stars of evening appeared in the sky, Koala Lou crept home through the dark and up into the gum tree. Her mother was waiting for her. Before she could say a word, her mother had flung her arms around her neck and said, "Koala Lou, I do love you. I always have and I always will." And she hugged her for a very long time. See, the mum and Koala Lou hugging her. That's it. And little Scarlett, I do love you. And I'll see you again in a couple of weeks.